Hi, I'm Frode, and in this video we will explore 3 big ideas from Napoleon the Great by Andrew Roberts. Napoleon the Great. Subtitle: There is none. Andrew Roberts is a historian and a journalist. He's also the author of the biographies of one of those people who are one of my greatest heroes, namely Napoleon. In case you don't know who Napoleon Bonaparte was, he was a statesman and a military leader who rose to great prominence during the French Revolution. He eventually became emperor, and after winning a lot of battles during the Napoleonic Wars, he eventually ruled over all of continental Europe, which then collapsed in 1815. He's also considered as one of the greatest military commanders of history, and he is truly one of the most inspiring individuals I have learned about because of his incredible ambition and unstoppable intensity of his character. So the book is a very inspiring read. Consists of a lot of the stories from Napoleon's life. You get to learn about his qualities, the qualities that make up his character of who he is. And that's one of the most inspiring things I find in books, when you can really get to know who someone is as a person and how that made them achieve their success. So I'm very passionate about sharing this biography with you, especially since I believe that readers of history and biographies can become great leaders, since those who don't read biographies or history have such a way much smaller sense of the possibilities of what they can achieve, and they can't really imagine themselves doing what the great people in the past have done, because they don't know of the great people in the past. But those who do read history and biographies, like Napoleon the Great, they learn to see the possibilities that people have fulfilled, the great accomplishments that they have attained through difficulties and great pain. So reading biographies gives such much greater ambition, since we believe that so much more becomes possible for us. We develop more courage, since we develop the confidence that it's possible for us, and not only somebody else who is dead and long gone in the past, to achieve great things. And we develop empathy. We get to know and understand people's emotions, because we learn about all the stories of their triumphs, their failures, the positive and negative emotions that they felt throughout their lives, all the disappointments and all of the great happenings. So today we will look at Napoleon the Great. And there are 3 big ideas we will look at. Practical ideas that we can apply to our lives to get to become better people and realize our potential. First, we'll look at how to amplify our ambition and self-belief. Secondly, how to accomplish tasks masterfully. And thirdly, how to get things done like a commander. So stay tuned. Firstly, how do we develop or amplify our ambition and self-belief? Napoleon was a great student of history and biographies. Some of his greatest heroes were Julius Caesar, and who was a emperor during, yes, I believe it was an emperor or consul of Rome. He was a great leader back in the days, in the 1st century before Christ or after. Not quite sure about the facts, but he was very ambitious. And one of Napoleon's other heroes was Alexander the Great, who lived during the 4th century BC. And he conquered most of the known world, Persia and India and all of Greece. So what these people made Napoleon believe was that he could achieve the same great things that these people had done in the past. And this really aroused his ambition and his belief in himself, that he was capable of doing the same. I have a quote here from Napoleon himself on this topic. He says that The reading of history very soon made me feel that I was capable of achieving as much as the men who are placed in the highest ranks of our annals. So that's it in a nutshell. If you want to amplify your ambition and your self-belief, study history, and especially the biographies of extraordinary people who have accomplished great things. Some other quotes about history that I found very inspiring is first by Les Brown. History is being read, but it's also being written by people with imagination. And we can be those people with imagination who cherishes a vision and ideals and then strives to reach those visions and ideals, which are to the benefit of humanity. Also, a quote from Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor philosopher of the 2nd century AD. He said that what we do now echoes in eternity. And that's such a profound quote, because every single act we do now is kind of like a choice we make between doing the best we can or just getting by. If we make all we can out of this present moment, we give all of ourselves to what's happening right now, then we might be able to make history, because everything echoes throughout eternity. But whether we will be remembered by history through our contribution to humanity, that remains to see, with what we make out of this present moment. So to summarize, the way we amplify our ambition and self-belief is studying history and biographies. In that way, we will one time maybe be able to make history. Second big idea is how do we accomplish tasks masterfully? Much like Napoleon. Napoleon had an incredible obsessive attention to detail. When he was planning his campaigns or battles, he would take care of every factor. He would consider everything. The number of horses that would be in the battle, when the supplies would need to come, the strategies that the different regiments out on the field would follow through on, and everything you can think of, from the boots of the soldiers to the books that they read, and all of these things. So when Napoleon had planned one of his campaigns, everybody would know where to be and what to do. So that's a really great vision of a leader who gets his people to do things. And the principle here is really having a great attention to detail to accomplish your tasks masterfully. But more specifically in this example, I want to focus on precision in planning. Because when you plan precisely exactly what you're going to do, why you're doing it, your motivation for doing it, how you're going to do it, when you will do it, where you will be, and with who you will perform the task, then you gain a much greater clarity than if you just begin your day without any plan whatsoever of what it is you want to achieve. The same goes for our weekly, monthly, yearly, and decade-long goals, to be really precise in what direction we are taking in the tasks we want to accomplish. So the way I'm doing this is each day I formulate the 3 most important things I need to get done each day, the 3 most important goals, and I put them into precise time slots into my calendar. Then I formulate what is the exact task I'm going to do in one simple sentence. For example, practice and present Napoleon on my English YouTube channel, international YouTube channel. And that's what the motivation is, to inspire youth, or mostly youthful people to what were my reasons? Inspire youth to discover and fulfill their purpose in life. Secondly, to build their characters through living by principles. And thirdly, to make history through their positive contribution to the world. And the way I do that is through reading through the mind map I make of all these videos, and practicing it a few times, speaking it, then recording, and then I'm done. And I know exactly when I'll do it. First thing when I wake up in the morning after having eaten, where I'll be in my dorm room, and with who. By myself, and you, of course. So that's an example of attention to detail, to have precision in your planning. So what I suggest you do if you want to get started is to not overwhelm yourself. Just choose 1 or 3 things each day that you will define, the task that you will define in great detail. Ask yourself, what will I do? Why will I do it? How will I do it? When? Where will I be? And with who will I do it? So then this will be a bit hard in the beginning, but eventually it will become automatic and it will go more effortlessly. And you'll see the results in the performance of your day-to-day tasks. Next big idea is, how do we get things done like a commander? Napoleon really wasn't the man to spend a lot of time during meals. He would mostly spend 10 minutes, but on the occasions of family dinner on Sundays, he would spend a maximum amount of 30 minutes for his meal. So everybody, all the guests he had, his wife, his servants, would obey his signal of rising from the table. One of his dinner guests recounts in the book, or that in a book of Napoleon the Great, Andrew shares a recounting from some guest who talked about how Napoleon would rise from the table. So we all obeyed his signal. He would push very suddenly his chair out, and he would rise as if he had received an electric shock. So it was in this really brusque manner. He would get up and then he would go to work. So I just had a great laugh the first time I read this, because I could kind of imagine the intensity of this guy and the reactions from those people around him when he just gets up and goes out of the room. And it wasn't that people didn't care. They actually was a bit offended probably, and his wife once told him that you can actually spend a bit more time with us when you're eating meals. And then Napoleon answered that this is already a corruption of power. So then he went to work again. And the principle here is not to rush through family dinners or meals at all, but instead to enforce your own schedule. Be clear about the tasks that you will do, when you will work, and when you will rest. When you work, during the specific time slots that you will start and end your work, you work and nothing else. During the specific times when you will rest and stop resting to start work again, you do nothing else than rest in some way. And the way I do this is I use the academic quarter, as it's called, which means that the work session starts 15 minutes past, for example, 3 o'clock. So 3:15 is when my work block starts. I work until 4, then I have a break until 4:15, start the next work block. And this means that I can be really intense and kind of expand my capacities for how great work I can do, and then I recover again. So really intense, recover, really intense, recover. That's just the way I like doing it. And I force this schedule to get things done more quickly. Despite the impulse to have longer breaks or to have longer work sessions. Okay, so that's how we develop to get things done like a commander. And I really believe that to have clear schedules, to enforce schedules, and have a great work ethic is a great quality of leadership. I've read about a lot of leaders who do this, and I can sense that some leadership qualities are coming through me too. Not to brag or anything, but that's just what I see. And then let's review these ideas before we say our goodbyes. First, we looked at how we could develop and amplify our ambition and self-belief, which is through studying history and especially biographies of great people. We looked at how we can accomplish our tasks masterfully, which is through a great attention to detail, a development of an eagle eye, and more concretely, precision in planning. Thirdly, we looked at how we can get things done like a commander, which is through enforcing our schedules, developing a solid work ethic. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did. Share it with your friends so other people can receive some inspiration from this great man, Napoleon Bonaparte, and the qualities that he had that we can also take from the book. And subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date on ideas for how you can discover and fulfill your purpose, build your character through living by principles, and make history through your positive contribution to humanity. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you an awesome day. Till next time.